Great, welcome to February 1st. And we're back to the standing practice week. We're gonna work with the strap to contain the limbs, and for this class Monday we'll do a leg focus, and then on Friday we'll do an arm focus. So it'll be two different classes, but same theme. So go ahead and find your non-dominant cross-legged position and just take some time to adjust so that you feel really aligned, you feel supported enough, whether it's underneath you or off to the hips or knees. And take your shoulders and put them in line with your hips. You can press down on your own thighs as a signal that your legs should be very dense and heavy. And as you start to feel a lightness in the torso, we want that heaviness of the legs to increase, not to decrease. And when you feel like you're well aligned and really anchored, as well as feeling buoyant in the spine, then join your hands in front of your heart and close your eyes. Bringing your attention to your breath. And if you sense that you need to become a bit more grounded to start this practice, take some deeper breaths, supporting an extension of your exhalation. Otherwise, just simple breath observation, sitting quietly, just stepping into that witness role. Just running a little body scan and giving some attention, shining the light of attention throughout the body. Maybe setting an intention for this practice. And then as you're ready, bowing towards your own heart, your own inner teacher. Raise your head, move the hands down, and welcome everyone. So B.K.S. Iyengar referred to the limbs as the organs of action. And he also had a saying that this practice really moves us from the periphery to the core. So the thought today is to contain the organs of action to help move the focus inward. And so we're going to start in hero pose, just to get the legs on board. Hero pose is one of the most effective poses to stretch the legs. So you can set up for that pose, taking whatever support you need. As a reminder, this is the W sitting position, where you join the knees and separate the feet a little bit wider than your hips. And you adjust the flesh of your legs so that your kneecaps look forward and your toes point back. So what you don't want to see is the knees rotating in. For some of us, it's out. Just straight ahead kneecaps, straight back toes, and sometimes adjusting the calf muscle and thighs to help you get there as needed. And then the sitting bone should have some support. You want to kind of anchor into your toes, especially your small toes, so that you invite the outer shins to roll down. Bring your hands to your feet, adjust your shoulders back above the hips. Take your tailbone in, adjust your skull if you need to position it above the spine. And use your shoulder blades as little supports to lift and spread your chest. Opening the front ankles, supporting the arches of your feet with this pose, which is very helpful to our standing poses to have those inner arches supported and lifted. We'll come into Parvatasana to open the armpits and extend the torso. So take your hands in front of you and interlock the fingers. Rotate your palms out. Try to fully extend the arms here, taking the bend out of the elbows, and then raise the arms. We get a little bit weaker on the thumb side, the inner wrist side. So do your best to really press up there. Do your best to fully extend your arms. Try to take the arms any amount back, which helps move the shoulder blades in. And make sure that you're not throwing your head forward here. Navel in, tailbone long. Relax the temples and take a few moments just inviting some attention into the sides of the trunk. Floating some breath into those intercostal muscles between the ribs. These are our muscles of respiration. We make them more elastic when we lengthen and stretch them, which makes us breathe better, which makes us feel better. So go ahead and reverse to your alternate interlock, taking the other pinky as the loose pinky, tight into the webbing, fully extend the arms, take them up, and just perfect and refine that Parvatasana in this Virasana hero pose, opening the armpits, really anchoring into your legs still as we have all this upward moving energy, which is so seductive that sometimes we lose the base, the foundation, or the focus there. Go ahead and release the arms. So we'll come into downward facing dog to open the backs of the knees and to keep extending the backs of the legs. So transition to your hands and knees. Make sure your feet and knees are opened as wide as your hips, and then take the toes underneath well, and on an exhale, extend your legs, but keep your heels lifted. Keep the heels lifted to raise the hips any amount higher. And then imagine moving your shoulder blades into your chest and your chest towards your thighs and your front thighs towards your back thighs. And keeping that, then descend the heels. Roll the inner knees back and compress the outer knees toward midline. And as the heels descend toward the floor, reach the toes toward the top of the mat, creating really nice dynamic action in the soles of the feet. Think about compressing the kneecaps into the back knees. Make sure you're not falling into your front body. Scoop the inner front ribs together and gently corset them toward the back body. So your front body, back body should be really even and long. So that we become heavy in the heels, you're going to move your hands toward your feet for today, rather than the feet toward the hands. So walking the hands toward the feet until you sense that the feet come down evenly grounded front to back. And if you need some support here, either grab your blocks, or you could press your hands onto your shins, or you could press your hands onto your thighs. So if the floor isn't accessible, find some way to prop your hands. And then go ahead and walk your feet together for the classical Uttanasana. And just being in Ardha Uttanasana, see what the greatest extension of your legs is. It might still mean your knees are significantly bent, that's okay. Keeping your low back either flat or concave. Eventually, we have the hands pressing down outside the feet, in line with shoulders. So on your next exhale, go into your full forward bend, whatever that is for you. Again, it might be just kind of lowering the hands slightly. It might mean starting to move the hands back in line with the feet. So go to your edge. We'll be here for about 8 breaths. After the exhalation, bend your knees. Point your tailbone down toward the floor. Take hold of your hips and squeeze the elbows in so they're only as wide as your shoulders. And then attempt to angle your torso more upright as you keep your knees back for Utkatasana. So you're sitting down deeply, one day, someday, thighs level with the floor. Now raise the arms so that you're continuing the extension of the sides of the torso. The arms continue that line of the sides of the torso. Look straight ahead, whatever that means for you. It depends on the angle of the trunk. Sit down deeply, deeply, deeply. Lift your pelvic floor, lift the inner arches of your feet. And now on an inhale, come up. And release the arms. And if you can hold mountain pose with feet together, you'll do that. And if you need to separate the feet, you can do that. Just gonna move my camera a little bit. And you're gonna be quietly in mountain pose for the next 5 or 6 breaths. Putting your shoulders in line with your hips, balancing over your feet. Trying to quiet the feet to a soft position rather than that clinging and shrinking foot pattern that we all know. Keeping your legs firm. And try to sense how alignment supports stability. The alignment of the body, those refining movements you make to adjust the pose can make it steadier, less wobbly. And as you're ready, opening your eyes. So we're going to do a series of standing poses with strap support. And the chair should be available at any point because I always like to remind you safety first. And with strap usage on the legs, you might feel like you get tangled up. You might feel kind of unsteady. So I want you to always feel like your chair is there if you have any concerns about your balance or tipping over. We're going to start with a loop for Warrior 2 that goes around both ankles. So you don't exactly know what size you need yet. You kind of approximately know based on the width of the feet. And because we are using the strap, we're not going to do the jumping out today. You're going to kind of set up your right-sided Warrior 2. So as you can see, probably my knee is going beyond my ankle, which means my strap needs to be wider because we want that knee right on top of the ankle. So your left toes are turned in, your right toes are 90 degrees, your right heel intersects your left foot. And when you have it right on the ankles, you should feel contained and you should feel stable. And if you're not feeling that, maybe put a chair in front of you here so that you can just rest your fingertips there. You can really kind of try to tap into how this can be a supportive way to practice. That's what I really want you to sense here, that the legs are feeling very anchored. So we have this resistance of the strap that we can feel. So once you're there, extend your arms. Turn your torso from right to left so that you don't steer it to the right, which tends to occur here. Drop the shoulder blades down the back. And try to really create more tension on the strap with the action of your legs. So the outer left ankle presses, the front right ankle moves in, the right knee drives forward. Carry your gaze, look over your right fingertips. Make sure you're lifting your pelvic floor so that you're not losing the energy of the spine in a downward way. And if you feel like your shoulders are creating neck tension, try to drop the shoulders and grow the distance between them. And I really want you to take a moment here before we leave Warrior 2 right side, just to feel that how powerful the back leg is. So use the back leg and make that strap any amount stronger or tighter. Anchor into the back leg. Good. And now go ahead and soften up or straighten the right knee. You can take your hips. You're going to transition Warrior 2 in the left. The strap distance should still be correct or appropriate. We want to see the knee floating right on top of the ankle. We know for this pose that knee likes to drift toward big toe side, so we're going to press it towards small toe side. Steer your trunk from left to right. Stretch the arms, but drop the shoulders. Create nice space between earlobes and shoulders. Gazing over the left fingers. But bring attention into your right limbs. Those are your anchor points here. Really tighten the strap by stepping deeper into your right heel. By locking the hold on your right wrist as if someone's holding it, grabbing it, and not letting you go. And even looking over your left fingertips, root your eyes to the right hand. Give your eyes roots all the way to that arm you're not looking at. Use the strap to give you feedback. What happens when you wing your knee out to the small toe side? You can feel it in the strap a little bit. What happens when you anchor into the right heel? Strap gets tighter. Good. Go ahead and press the floor away, straighten the left knee. We're going to move back to right side. Same position with the legs, but it's side angle pose. And you're just going to be resting your arm on your thigh, so you shouldn't need anything. Unless you feel unsteady, then you might want to put the chair there instead. So that's your call. So go back to your 90-degree right knee. Left toes swing back in. Go back to your warrior two stance. And then lengthen to the right side with the torso. Prop the right arm palm up on the right thigh. Take the left hand to your left hip. We're not going to be super focused on upper body today. Roll the top shoulder back. So we're not bringing the top arm in today. We're going to just open the chest here with the hand on the hip. But find the action of your legs and use the strap. Play with small adjustments in your feet and articulations of your leg to feel the strap kind of change on you. The tension changes. The tension then maybe directs the knee to go into place. Rolling that right side body around. And just notice how the support of the lower half is giving the upper body really good mobility and alignment. Connect the dots of tailbone to crown here. Let your left heel be a rooting point for that exit point of energy at the crown of your head. Good. And now help yourself inhale up and out of it. Be careful of the strap tail. You're going to transition to left side for side angle pose. So the same kind of beginning part of warrior two. We have to do that rotation of the trunk from left to right. Lift the pelvic floor, anchor into the right heel, stretch the arms out, drop the shoulders. Big in-breath here. Exhale, lengthen left. Prop the left forearm, palm up. Right hand to the right hip. And using the pressure of the forearm on the thigh, roll that right shoulder back, bring the left side ribs around, extend through the crown of your head, anchor into your right heel. And just try to get an imprint of what the containment of the action of the legs is doing for you. Hopefully it's positive. The last thing we want is our props to just kind of fumble around with them and frustrate us. So hopefully you're getting good feedback here. Take that left buttock under. Good. And then use an inhale, so you're protecting the length that you've grown with this pose. Use an inhale to come up. All right, nice. Okay, so now we're going to do, we are going to repeat poses, but with a different strap placement. So we're going to go back to right-sided warrior two stance, but now you're taking the strap to your left heel, right hip crease. You may or may not need to adjust the strap. It's different for everyone. And I said heel, but it's more kind of right in front of the heel, in the arch of the foot. But you're stepping down on that strap. You're lining up again, right heel to left arch. And you should have good tension on that strap. You should feel a significant amount of pressure in your right hip crease. And you should feel really well anchored into left heel. If you don't have that, tighten it up. Okay, try to angle the knee out toward the small toe side. Stretch the arms out wide. Steer the trunk to the left so that you're squaring up the shoulders and hips. And use that strap to take it any amount deeper. Lift your pelvic floor. And then going into side angle pose from here, right side angle pose. Hand to the hip again. Really stepping deeply into left foot. Reaching the right knee away from that supportive strap in the hip crease and angling the knee to the small toe side. Extending through the crown of your head. Rotating the torso right to left. Good. Just different feedback. So go ahead and leave that side. Carefully, safely, slowly transitioning. You are going to have to swap out your strap to stepping on it with the right heel and putting in the left hip crease. Are we having fun yet? It's only 8 a.m. and we're doing crazy things. It's going to be a good day. All right. So take some time setting it up. You want to feel supported. You want to feel safe. You want to feel that good tension, like it's a guitar string. Good. Okay, Okay, so start from warrior two. Really anchor into right foot and use that to tighten up the tension on that left hip crease. And then notice how that liberates you to sit down deeper. Angle the knee toward small toe. And then lengthen left, really anchoring into right foot. Prop the left arm, left hand or right hand to right hip. Get as much tension out of that strap as you can and use it to kind of feed the lightness and the freedom of the upper body. Rolling the outer right foot to the floor. Good. Take that left knee back in space. Roll that left buttock toward the front body. Shoot a laser beam out of the top of your head. Nice. And then keep yourself well anchored in the right foot as you inhale to come up and help yourself come out of there. Okay, so we may or may not need to adjust the strap again, but I'm going to have you put a few props in front of the short edge of your mat. We're going to be working toward the short side now. And also so have your chair there, have your blocks ready to go if needed to the right and left side. We're going to start with warrior one, stepping into the strap with the left foot and sliding it over the right hip crease. It's best to have your strap tail really handy and accessible so that at any point you can adjust and tighten, or you can adjust and loosen if that's needed. So you got to kind of get your shape, get your warrior one legs under you, find the tension, do all of that. Use the chair if you need to for your upright torso position. You can just have your fingertips on the chair, back, tailbone in, and then play with really stepping into left heel. If you're not using the chair, hands are on your hips for now. As you step into left heel, notice how that liberates you to sit down deeper and to not be so tension-filled in your right quad. Good. And then take the arms up. Build that base first, and then take the arms up. Use your shoulder blades to lift your chest, like someone's got their hands on your back and they're pressing up. Sit down deeply and notice how that feeds kind of a greater expression of the upper body of this pose. Good. Inhale to straighten the leg safely, slowly, gently. Yep, that was your warrior one. You have to swap the legs out. Good. I'm seeing upright bodies, which is a good sign. Upright bodies. Okay, so find your distance between your feet. The strap should afford you kind of a greater distance because you're protected, you're safe, you're held, you're bound. And then hands to the hips or chair for that first piece, just kind of getting your legs underneath you, your tailbone moving in, your powerful back leg anchoring like a root deep into the floor, shooting the left knee forward out of that sense of stability in the back. And then when you get that instinct, take the arms up. Lift the shoulder blades towards the front body. Take the arms back, just like your Parvatasana that we did in hero pose. Take the arms back behind the ears. Sit down deeper. Just 2 more breaths. Nice. Safely, slowly, gently straighten your leg. Help your feet get out of there with safety. Do what you need to do to get out of there. Different for everybody. Safety first. Good, we did that safely. I'm happy about that. So we're going to come into a series of 3 poses with the right leg first. Parsvottanasana, forward bend. Triangle pose, revolve triangle pose. So we're back to right front thigh, left arch of the foot. Straight legs. So that means the strap might have to go a little bit tighter because because you're going to work with straight legs now. Okay, so you have the chair there, you have a high part of the chair, you have the seat of the chair, you also have blocks. So it's choose your own adventure, but you're going to be coming into the forward bend concave position, and your hands should be equally spaced around the inner and outer foot. So I'm feeling a little loose here. I'm going to tighten up my strap. I got the tail right nearby. I can grab it and pull, but I want to feel the power of the strap. That's the whole point. We're not just doing this for you know what. So really finding the tap root, which is the back leg, driving it into the floor, using that to compress the front right thigh front to back. And then notice how once you have all that backward energy, you can extend your torso longer and more forward. Good. And then take that length and bow over the leg. No wobbly kneecap, so firming the right leg, tightening the quadricep, compressing the leg, which the strap is helping you do. So we know there's imbalance in the feet in this pose. Let your strap talk to you as you shift weight to your right big toe, left small toe. Just notice how the strap gives you feedback there. Did you feel it move that outer right hip bone in? Hopefully, maybe. When we're floating in space without the strap, we have to propriocept these things, and sometimes they slip under the radar because we don't have the sense organ of touch involved. Last exhale. And now this is what I came up with as the safest way to do triangle pose is from this pose. Still, I want you to be very careful. So the back foot is going to angle out as it does for triangle pose. You're going to leave your left block off to the side. You're going to stay with your right block or chair or back of the chair, whatever you're using. And you're going to open yourself out to the left. You're coming into triangle pose here. Stepping strongly into the strap with the outer left foot. Rolling the right buttock under, which the strap is helping you do. The strap is pushing the flesh of the buttock toward the front body. Connect the dots of tailbone and crown. Keep your hand on your hip. That's going to give you a little bit more feeling of stability today. Open your chest. Still compressing your right leg front to back. That stays true with the standing poses. And then you're going to come back to facing your blocks, pivot in with your left foot. As you're doing great, return to Parsvottanasana. And now we'll experience revolving side angle. Okay, so pushing into left block, anchoring into left heel, sliding right hand to your hip, and pushing down to rotate, revolve the trunk to the right. Let the strap help you move your right hip bone toward midline. Use the outer left foot to help you bring that strap to push in on the outer right hip bone. It's a lot, but hopefully you're getting a little bit of this feedback. Good. Nice work. Wonderful. Safely, slowly turn to face whatever you're using for props. You're going to untangle yourself out of there so that you can switch it out for side 2. We're going to left hip crease, right arch. Your legs will be straight. They're not on a balance beam. Make sure your feet are hip distance, even though they're no longer under the hips. And you have good tension on the strap. And make the tail accessible so when you need to, if and when, you can pull and tighten. So you're going to come into half forward bend, Parsvottanasana. Evenly placing your hands around the inner and outer left foot with whatever prop you're using, blocks, chair, high, low. Let the strap roll the flesh of the outer left hip in. Shift your weight across the feet from left to right to bring more balance to the pose. Steer your torso to the left as you do so. And then really step into your right foot. Powerfully step into your right foot, which requires a fuller extension of your right leg, a compaction, which compacts the left leg in turn. Give all that foundation to bring space to your torso, and then exhale, bow deeply over your left shin. Inhale back to the concave or flat lumbar spine. And now we aren't on a balance beam, but for triangle, we do need to be intersecting left heel to right arch. So taking the support, you need to step your right foot and to open the toes out so that you have an intersection of left heel to right arch. You're going to keep your hand down on your left block, right hand to your right hip. You're rolling open. This is not revolving triangle. I think that's Kathleen. So other side. Yeah, revolving is next. There you go. And then good tension on the strap. Make this about the legs today. Reach those left toes forward. Anchor into the outer right foot. Compact your left thigh front to back. And hopefully you're noticing how the power of your legs is liberating some spaciousness and alignment in the upper body without any effort of the upper body. Good. Top of the inhale, take the next exhale, turn toward the floor. Pivot back in. Carefully, safely, do what you need to do. Create that good tension on your strap. We're going to now come into revolving triangle. You'll stay down on your right block, in line with your shoulder. Left hand to left hip. Pushing into the floor using the strap. Turning the trunk to the left. If you can rotate some weight to the outer right heel, the strap will help you move the left hip bone in. Wonderful. Inhale and then exhale, turn back toward the props. Safely find your way out of there. And we'll put the blocks aside. Okay, let's just pause a moment in Tadasana. So put your feet either hip distance or together. Close your eyes. Dialing into those wise actions of this pose, but also without any extraneous effort. Just pausing to observe the breath, observe sensation in the body, maybe energy, maybe there's some awakeness or aliveness in the limbs, maybe some fatigue. And we'll open the eyes. So now we're all going to use a chair, and we're going to bind the legs for Warrior 3, which is a standing balancing pose. So before you come in, I'll just show you what that looks like. The left leg's going to be the aerial leg first. So the right front thigh will be where the strap goes, and the left foot is also getting the strap. So we're going to kind of create the tension we want, and we're going to use the chair, the high part, so that we have support in the front body. And then we're going to play with a little bit of steering that aerial leg around to kind of feel how the two legs relate. So step one, the chair is going to be there available and ready, but to put the strap into the right hip crease, to step in with the left foot. Some of you have already done this. And then once you're standing on one leg and extending left leg back, find the tension you need. Because if it's too loose, you're not going to have much feedback, and then you'll kind of miss the point. Good. So take a moment to move the left leg to the left and feel how it helps you keep the compaction of the outer right hip moving in. And then also press the arch of that left foot into the strap. And let it help you move that right front thigh toward the back thigh. A lot of times the aerial leg just floats in space and we don't really sense the power of it. So let the strap give you a little bit more sense of how powerful and stabilizing the aerial leg can be. Give a little attention to pressing the inner arch of your left foot into the strap. Toes down. Good. And now safely, slowly help yourself out. And we're going to take a resting Uttanasana before we do the other side. So put your strap down for a moment. Feet are hip distance or maybe slightly wider. And then you're going to forward bend either empty coat sleeves for arms or opposite elbow grab. Good. Dropping the hands, bending the knees, help yourself to standing. And now we'll try warrior 3 with the right leg being the aerial leg. So the right foot will have the strap, the left hip crease will have the strap. And then we're all going to use the chairs to have total support with the upper body so we can really focus in on the legs. Once you're up there, you're going to press back into your strap and you're going to move your leg slightly to the right to feel how that draws the outer left hip bone in where we tend to shoot out. And you're also going to press into the inner arch of the right foot to reach it out. Good. And then slowly, safely bring your leg down and come back to resting Uttanasana. Nice wide stance, dangling the arms or catching the opposite elbows. And just let your skull hang freely. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do for standing practice is wide standing forward bend with your loop under both feet. So just make sure you're not stepping on the metal rings, which doesn't feel good. You can use your chair out in front of you if you'd like the support of the chair. And you're going to make sure that your strap is wide enough that you can have the feet spaced apart enough that one of your own legs could fit between them. So we know we tend to roll in to the inner feet in this pose. So use the strap to keep the outer edges of your feet really anchoring down and to also help the inner arches stay lifted. Okay, lengthen forward. Be on your hands or blocks for a couple moments in the flat back or concave lumbar position. Tap into the outer feet, lift the inner arches, and then come into your fullest expression, the full forward bend. As you take the outer feet down, think about drawing the outer ankle bones in, not blasting them out. So contain the outer ankle bones in. And just try to notice how the pose is different being done with this strapping to the feet. Maybe you feel more stable. Maybe it's bringing new awareness to the pose somehow, or new articulations in your ankles or your feet. Maybe it's giving you more depth. And just stay about 5 more breaths. Try to bring the tops of your feet into the strap. Last 3 breaths. And now you're gonna find your way out of there. I recommend to kind of narrow the distance between the feet and get out of the strap first. And then you can find your way up. And we'll come on to our backs. Okay. So we're going to do just a couple of Padangustasanas, hand to big toe poses. And we're going to play with just kind of locating a few places on the back body to support the extension of the leg. So the first placement is going to be to the neck with your strap loop. And then you'll carry the other end of the loop to the arch of the right foot. And you're going to tighten up the loop so that your head can sit down and there's tension on the strap and the leg is as extended as it's going to be. And rather than letting your head float off the floor, your work is to keep the head pressing down and the foot reaching up. Your arms can be available out to the sides, kind of passively even. Just enjoy the passivity of the arms. Keep your shoulders really well connected with the floor. And bring a little extra effort to pressing the head into the floor. So there's more dynamic action going on here. Don't forget about your left leg. It should be also straight and actively pressing into the floor. Chin is tilting down rather than up. Good. Just for the ease of fewer strap adjustments, we're going to do the left side before we move to a different part of the back body. So keep it on your neck, but switch out to your left foot. Extend your right leg, try to give it some purpose, so it's not just sitting there on the floor idle. Remember, the right leg is your standing leg if we were doing this pose upright. And what we're learning here is that we don't want to move the head out of alignment with the spine when we have the fullest leg extension here with the left leg, which can happen. So keep your head pressurized into the floor and use that to bring a little more sensation to this stretch. Tilt your chin down. Give it some breath and attention, just 3 or 4 more breaths. Go ahead and soften the left knee. We're going to go back to the right foot, but now we're going to the armpit region with the strap. So you're going to need to probably adjust the strap a little bit. So it's coming right up through the armpits. It's coming right across the upper back. And you might need a little bit more openness in the strap. As we know, this is a forward bend. Hand to big toes poses are forward bends. As we know, a lot of times in our forward bends, we lose the broadness of the chest and we lose the action of the shoulder blades helping support the broadness of the chest. So this is teaching us that in a really graceful way. As we reach up through the foot, we're getting that good pressure to the scapula to stay lifted and inserted toward the chest. Tilt the chin down still. Don't forget the head actions. Make your strap as tight as it will be, so only you know your edge here, what that is. Three more breaths. And find a way to swap out the right foot for the left. Arms kind of off to the sides to keep the shoulders really well supported. Right leg is actively pressurized into the floor. And as you reach up through the left foot, feel how we get that good action of the shoulder blades moving in. Chin tilts down, head is heavy. Breath and attention. Play with the strap a little bit. Reach up through the inner arch of your left foot. We don't want to sickle the foot. We don't want to have a dull inner leg. So give some expression to the inner arch of the left foot. Good. So last experience with this, we're going to move to the lower back. Right leg will be going up again. Take your strap kind of to the hip line and up to the right foot. And again, more openness is probably needed. Are we having fun yet? Okay. So find your right tension, your straightest leg, and there's good dynamic relationship here between your lower back and that vertical right leg. So now the work is to keep the hips really anchored to the floor as you express nice upward energy through the sole of the right foot. And easing over to left side. You can keep right knee bent as you transition. It's a little easier on the back. Try to keep the weight of the left and right sides of the lower back equal, especially the left side. We know that we tend to kind of rotate forward with the aerial leg. So keeping that left side really anchored to the floor with nice intention there. Reach up through the inner arch of the left foot. Keep the chin angled down. Good. And now go ahead and release yourself out of there. And we're going to make one more little loop for our bridge pose. We're going to be stepping on the strap with both feet. You're going to need a narrow loop that allows your feet to only be hip distance, to contain the feet hip distance, and also to help us prevent the foot turnout that we a lot of times tend toward here in this pose. So you're going to have your strap under your feet and over the arches, right between the heel and the ball mounds. And once you have that, I want you to feel what the strap is telling you when you're toeing out, the wrong thing. I want you to feel the wrong thing. So take your toes out. And now put your toes in line with your heels and let the strap talk to you about that, what that feels like. We want to really have even pressure. So is that Vern? The feet are down on the floor. Oh, are you still trying to get it? I think you're trying to get it adjusted. Okay. So you just want to feel what the difference is between toeing out and having your toes in front of your heels, which is what we want to try to maintain. The strap will let you know. So this is kind of teaching us to keep the feet in this position. So then from there, tilt the pelvis so you close the gap of the lower back against the floor. Reach your fingertips toward your heels. Pressurize your shoulders down, even though they like to curl off the floor. Tilt your chin down, and on an exhale, pressing your arms into the floor, lift your hips. And try to keep your feet really front of mind here. Keeping an evenness of pressure along the strap with the outer feet. And also stepping into your big toes, rolling the inner thighs down. Curling the tailbone up into the body toward the ceiling. Dropping the buttocks. If they're clamping, let the buttocks go. See how you can use and recruit other parts of the body so your butt isn't doing more work than it's supposed to be. 3 more breaths. Good. Walk the spine down on an exhalation. And when you come to the sacrum, drop it into the floor like an anchor. Let it restore your neutral lumbar curve. Slide your feet out of your strap. And then draw your feet in one at a time. Draw your thighs into reclining child, just to release the spine from the back bend of bridge, coming into reclining child, a gentle forward bend. And then circling the knees to massage your back. And then rotate the knees in the other direction. Try to touch all the surface area of the sacrum with bigger and smaller and medium-sized circles. And then you'll step your right foot down. Send your arms out sideways. Cross your left leg over your right leg. Shift onto your right hip. Let your legs fall to the right. And then take your right hand onto your top leg, just to give your legs a sense that they can just let go and surrender. Either draping your left hand over your side body, if the shoulder is kind of bothered by this, or extending the arm out completely. And then either looking up toward the ceiling or off to the left, whatever the neck is ready for. Close your eyes. The knees will try to pull away from the shoulder line. So you might at one point just make an adjustment if it's accessible to hug the knees toward the shoulder line, but then remember to make sure the legs become passive again. And just scanning the body for tension here, excusing all the effort of the practice. We're starting to work our way towards Shavasana, letting the breath roll through. Exposing the outer left hip to the breath. Letting your left side ribs gently gravitate back to the floor. So we just disciplined the legs pretty heavily. So just giving your legs permission to be off duty. And we'll gently ease back to center and take some time to just rearrange your body so that you come back to the floor evenly. Adjust the arms out spaciously to the sides, and then crossing the right leg over the left. Tucking your left hip under you, right hip above left. Let the legs fall to the floor. Pull them toward the shoulder line, any amount if they can come up. Use your left hand against the top leg for some support. Looking up or off to the right, and either draping the right hand to the side waist or unfolding it completely out to the side. Completely tap into a surrendered feeling in your legs. And you're going to gently and slowly find your way to center, and from there, taking any movements that you need, and then from there, finding Shavasana. Once you're on your back in Shavasana, take a moment to bring a sense of spaciousness to the limbs. Extending the arms away from the torso so that you don't have any flesh touching the sides of the trunk. Letting the legs be a little wider than hip distance. Lifting the chest for a moment and inviting the shoulders to sit down a bit more heavily. Looking toward your cheeks with eyes closed, away from the brain. And first, just sensing the physical body. Inviting all of the cells to relax and let go. Then observing the breath in its natural rhythm. Noticing if there's any sensation of energy in the body, maybe a feeling of a vibration or an awakeness or an aliveness in the limbs or the torso. And as we hold the pose of Shavasana, the ripples of thought, they start to become fewer and farther between. Sometimes imperceptibly, but they do. And we start to become more familiar with the spaces between the thoughts, the stillness. As thoughts crop up, which they always do, you can notice them, name them, categorize them, and then just let them float past, just like a cloud in the sky. Thinking about thoughts like clouds and our consciousness like the big blue expansive sky that's always behind and above those clouds. Resting in this expansive state. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about language, ideas, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Rumi. Let's take a few deeper breaths, just smooth, slow, steady, from the feet to the head, from the head out through the feet. And when the time is right, returning to your easiest breath flow. Beginning to move some fingers, toes, let the movement travel from the farthest reaches of your body inward. And when you're you're ready, help yourself move to either side of your body. And gently from there, finding your way to seated. Sitting up tall, joining the hands together in front of the heart. Finding a soft, easy smile. Let's take a deep breath in together through the nose and let it go. From the place within me that I know to be divine, I honor that place within each of you. Namaste. Right, everyone, thank you so much for being here today. I'll see you again soon, I hope. Bye.